Okay, so I'm going to show you guys how to handle your files and how to size them, photograph them and size them and fix them for submission so that you can get maximum possible score. If your files are over 10 megabytes, I probably will not download them. It just takes a long time and it fills up my hard drive and it's just not nice. And it's hard for everybody else as well. So these are some submissions from Tracy from week 1, assignment 3. I had posted a note that I would like you to adjust these and put them into a PDF, but that hasn't happened yet, so I'm going to show you how to do it. First off, when you take your photographs of your drawings, put your drawings flat up against the wall and hold your camera at a consistent distance when you take your pictures so they're all the same size. Square on 90 degrees to the camera, to the image so that they are not distorted. Like this has got a little fold in here, it's got a little bend in here, it's a little distorted. Sometimes they'll be perspective will be really skewed. Then once you take your pictures, you need to put them, you see they come in with stupid file names too, so you don't want to do that. So you want to, first we're going to fix the hideous yellow color. And the way to do that is to go in Photoshop, Image, Adjustments, Hue and Saturation. You take the saturation and you knock it all the way down to 0. Then we're going to fix the brightness. Again, you go to Image, Adjustments, Levels. You can try the auto levels and see if that's good enough. To me, that's not good enough. It's still very gray. So I'll pull down the light and I'll pull up the dark and maybe adjust the middle bit a bit, just a bit, so we can see how it looks. That's much better. I think you will all agree that that's much better than what we've got going on over here. Next thing I'm going to do is trim them down a bit. This one isn't too bad. There's only a tiny bit showing, but the more white space you get away from your file, the smaller your file will be anyway. So you use the crop tool, pull in the crop edges here so that you're cutting off any excess image that's not necessary. All right, so we'll do that to this one too. So again, you can use hotkeys if you know them. We use hue and saturation found under the image menu. Take the saturation down to 0. Then use levels, which is Control L, and I'm going to just manually do it rather than do the auto. And adjust it till it looks good. I notice that I can see through this, or maybe there's some eraser. You definitely want to separate your pictures from their sketchbook so that you're not getting any bleed through of your drawings. I just want to see just your drawings, or put a piece of paper between the sheets so that you don't have this bleed through here. All right, now I'm going to trim this down. Voila. One more. All right, this guy here. We will use the hue and saturation. Turn off the saturation, which is essentially making it a black and white. Go to levels. Pull in. You see all the pixels are all clustered around the middle. That's where this is a histogram. This is what a histogram is. And it's showing you where all the pixels are. Now I can see right through this image to the bear behind it. So I know that this is a page on top of the bear. So Tracy, if you're watching this, which I hope you are, try to don't rely on this to get rid of that shadow. Put a piece, either take these out of the sketchbook and pin them to the wall, or you have to prop the sketchbook up on something very flat and put a piece of paper between the sheets. Now we'll trim it. I definitely do not ever want to see binders, fingers, shadows, or bits of carpet or wall or floorboards coming up from behind your drawings. I just want the drawings. That's still not really excellent because I can see so much of this here, but that really needs to be reshot. All right, so now that they're cropped, we need to look at the size. As you can see up on the screen here, we've got 25%. If you look in your menu, the information bar at the top of each file, you will see that not only is the file name crazy, but it's 25%, which means that this thing is huge. These here are inches. It's 40 inches across. Not great. But if it says 25% and you still see a few inches, it might be your resolution anyway. So you will need to go for each time you photograph it, unless you can set this on your camera or on your scanner, you'll need to go to your image size, make sure you have constrained proportions on, and change the largest size to no more than 1,000. It can be less than that, but I wouldn't go much lower than 500. Make sure your resolution is set at 72. Now the PC is going to look a little bit different, and CC, I use CS6 if you're using Creative Cloud. It might still be a little bit different, so if you're having problems with that individually, please contact me and I can do a quick walkthrough with you, okay? So now we'll go, okay, now that makes it much smaller, but if we zoom in on it, you'll see that at 100%, it just fills the screen just nicely and no loss in quality, but much loss in excess weight. So we all would like to lose a little weight. So do that to the other two images. And finally, the third image here. Image size, largest dimension down to 1,000. Constrained proportions, 72 dpi, much more reasonable. Once you've got them all set up, then you would need to save them. And you will need to save them as a name that makes a little more sense than this. So I'm going to actually make a little folder for my test subject here. And I'm just going to call this one Honey Badger. It doesn't really matter what I call my JPEGs because I'm not going to post my JPEGs in the classroom. Here is another place where you can reduce the file size a bit more if you need to. When you have 20 or 30 images, you'll want to keep this file size down to about 200 or 300. But since it's only 3 images, 500 is fine. And so save this guy here. We'll save this as On the Hunt. And a Russian high five. That's already been saved. Yeah, we just got to save it. Okay, save that in test. Great. So now we've got our images, which were originally at this fairly distressing size, 3.5 megabytes of each JPEG, and very yellow, very crooked, with a name that makes no sense. As you can see, I load all the files onto my hard drive so that I have access to them. I can't go through and be renaming everybody's files. You need to name them last name first so that they're in alphabetical order. Forget about whatever they tell you to put in front of that. Just use your last name first. All right. Now from here, we're going to go to Acrobat. You should all have Acrobat Pro or Acrobat DC. And to make an Acrobat file, you can keep your Finder open. Go under Acrobat, File, Create, PDF, combine files into a single PDF. It will give you a window. You can either add files manually this way, or you can go the easy way and just drag and drop right there. Now, if you're still having problems with file size, you could consider going down to the smaller file size, but usually the middle size is fine. Do not use the PDF portfolio ever. Use the single PDF, combine files. Now we have a PDF, it's called Binder, and it has 3 files in it, and the files are all reasonably sized. They're black and white, and they have good visibility and a nice trim. So you'll save that file as a PDF, and you'll call it, I'm sorry Tracy, I can't remember your last name off the top of my head. I know it's a W. So I'm just going to call it WICT underscore and then the assignment number, which is W1A3 PDF. You can add the class too if you want to. I would just add the number. And save that to your folder where you know where your stuff is, like so. Ta-da! Now, before you go and post it, I highly recommend that you go and look at your file and make sure that it is below the limit. Here it is, 1.8 megabytes. It's fine. It's got to be under 5 megabytes. No problem. This is ready to be uploaded, and it will be accepted with cheerfulness and glee. And that is the basic run through for sizing, fixing the colors of your Photoshop files, saving them as JPEGs. You want to save them as JPEGs, you can save them any way you like as a JPEG, but put them into a PDF in order to post them in the classroom. They must be in a single PDF. I'm going to do another video that will show you what to do when you have 30 images instead of just 3 to 5. All right, thank you.